Everyone, I'm Sophie. I'm only 18, but I'm already the boss of a large research and technology company. What's my secret? I'll tell you everything. But first, we need to get into a time machine and go back to the very beginning of my story. Press like and let's get started. I always had a deep thirst for knowledge. My brains shone brighter than a Christmas tree. When I was 1, I could already read fairy tales before going to bed to myself. By the time I turned 3, I was already reading chemistry and physics textbooks for fun. I was a little genius. My parents, on the other hand, weren't smart at all. They barely graduated from school and never even thought about going to college.
Honey, this professor is saying the Earth is round.
Is he dumb? The Earth is flat. If it was round, we'd all fall off it. They weren't the brightest bulbs on the string and had never been too interested in science. Instead of working hard, they tried to get easy money. Unfortunately, they were too stupid for that. As you've probably guessed already, we were quite poor. Still, we don't choose our parents, and I loved mine anyway. One day, Dad came up with, in his opinion, a brilliant idea.
Holy heck! Look at how many views this dancing guy has on TikTok! We could do the same thing.
He suggested we film silly videos to become rich and famous. Mom liked his idea, and they started to make faces on camera. Even though they had no viewers, my parents gave it their all, to the point where they even forgot to take care of me.
What time is it? It's time to have a snack.
Unfortunately, there was no food in the refrigerator, and Mom and Dad didn't care about anything except their content. So I made a shopping list and went to get groceries by myself.
Hey, Mr. Seller, help me get the cereal from that shelf. I can't reach it.
Are you alone here? Where are your parents? I was smart beyond my years, so I immediately came up with an answer.
I'm 21. I just look young thanks to vitamin face masks.
Okay. He scratched his head, confused, and I was on my way. That evening, I got bored and started to play with the Rubik's Cube. Have you ever tried solving it? It's quite easy. I ended up in the background of one of my parents' videos, and it went viral. Mom and Dad realized that I was their ticket to a comfortable life and filmed dozens of videos of me. For example, Mom made me a funny cactus costume and filmed me running around the playground and scaring everyone.
Who wants a hug?
Of course, all the children ran away screaming. Later, Dad and I played robbers on camera.
Hey, partner, what's taking you so long?
Give me a second. Just a couple more turns and done.
I opened the safe like a pro and pulled out a bunch of little marmalades that looked just like gold bars. It was fun. The viewers really liked the smart little me, and my parents' channel blew up. We couldn't even go to the store without being recognized anymore. Reporters and fans crowded around us every time they saw us.
How did you raise such a brilliant daughter?
Mom clearly didn't know what to say, so I took matters into my own hands.
No comments. There will be no interview today.
Long story short, soon we were rolling in money. However, my parents spent it on all sorts of nonsense and even used the bills as napkins. I got a new friend, a bear made of bills, Mr. Bucks. Those happy times did not last long. I soon grew up and was no longer the cute little girl my parents' followers loved so much. Besides, I was tired of starring in such dumb videos. My parents' channel stopped bringing us money, and they hadn't managed to save up anything either. By the time I turned 14, Mom and Dad got into debt, and I even had to say goodbye to Mr. Bucks. That was the least of my problems, though. I knew the curriculum, and going to school became boring. Pythagorean theorem? That's too easy. My inquisitive mind demanded challenges, so I started to solve complex mathematical problems. One day, trouble knocked at our door, or rather, bailiffs. They said my parents had a week to pay off their debt. Otherwise, we would lose our house. We need $100,000. I don't want to live in a cardboard box. Damn it, I didn't want that either. So I tried to figure out how to help my parents. So I spent that evening looking for a solution online, and eventually I found something. The Clay Mathematics Institute was offering $1 million prize to anyone who could solve the great Millennium Prize problems. Have you heard about those? That's what they call complex math problems the best minds in the world had been puzzling over for decades. Let's see if I can do this. I focused and, to my own surprise, easily solved one of the problems. Hell yeah! I'm basically Einstein in a skirt! I sent an email to the institute and I got an answer the very next day. I did it! The best mathematicians in the country praised my intelligence. I was invited to the institute so I could get my prize. They had a condition, though. The ceremony would be taking place in 2 days, and I couldn't be late for even a minute. Otherwise, I'd be getting no money. 2 days to get to another city? I need to leave now! I immediately told my parents about my success, and I asked them to drive me to the institute, but they didn't believe me.
Who would pay money for a solution for some equation? Sophie, be serious.
Ugh, my parents were such morons. Sometimes I even thought I was adopted. Maybe I was actually an alien. That would make more sense than being related to them. Anyway, my parents were of no help, and I decided to go to the neighboring city by myself. I drew up a route and I headed to the bus stop. However, the sheriff was patrolling the streets in his pickup truck and saw me. He stopped me and gave me an incredulous look.
What's your name, young lady? Why are you here all alone?
Everyone in our town knew the sheriff took his job extremely seriously. He said he had to identify me and find my parents.
I'm gonna run you through the database. What if you ran away from home?
Damn it, I couldn't stay there. The bus would leave without me. There was no time to explain everything, so I tricked him. Mr. Sheriff, you've got a flat tire, see?
I do? Where?
He bent down to check, and I snuck past him and hid behind the bus stop.
Hey, run away. Where'd you go? Not a single child's gone missing on my watch yet. I'll find you.
Great! Being arrested was the last thing I needed. However, I couldn't stop now. I decided to get the prize money first, and then explain to the sheriff that it was all just a big misunderstanding. He kept looking for me, and I couldn't relax for even a second. Luckily, the bus pulled up to the stop and I got on it. I'll get that million. I put on headphones and I listened to a podcast on the way. I'd become super rich and never ever have problems again. We spent a day driving along a deserted highway. In the evening, the bus stopped at a gas station. There was also a roadside cafe by it. The driver and all the passengers went there to eat, while I nervously stirred at the time. Come on, we're gonna be late!
Do not worry, miss. The bus follows the schedule. We'll arrive on time.
His words calmed me down a little, and I decided to eat too. I only just got my pancakes with syrup when I saw the sheriff's car drive up to the cafe. Was he following me like I was some sort of criminal? My worst fears came true. The sheriff walked in and started to show the visitors a video from his dash cam. It showed me running away from him and getting on the bus.
Excuse me, has anyone seen this girl? I suspect she ran away from home.
Holy theorems! I would definitely be late if he brought me back home now! I couldn't miss my chance to go down in history as the youngest mathematician. So I desperately tried to come up with a solution and eventually decided to hide in the bathroom until the sheriff left. I was a genius. I hid behind a tray of pancakes and slipped past the sheriff.
Excuse me, miss. Have you seen...
No, I haven't seen anyone. Phew, that was close. I ran into the bathroom and waited. Luckily, none of the passengers remembered my face. So the sheriff left with nothing. I saw his pickup truck drive away from the cafe through the window, and I left the bathroom. Once I got outside, I realized my adventures were just beginning. The bus had left without me. Luck turned its back on me. What was I supposed to do now? I decided to hitchhike and went toward the road. Let's pause here. Guys, never do this, okay? On with the story. Soon, I got lucky, and a nice old couple, Mr. and Mrs. Palmer, stopped their car by me.
Sweetie, what's your name? What are you doing here without your parents?
Good evening, I'm Sophie, and I really need to get to the city.
Honey, let's give this young lady a lift.
Of course, we should help the kid. I thanked them and got into the car, but for some reason, the old couple were in no hurry to move. Excuse me, what are we waiting for?
I can't remember where I put my glasses.
They're on your face.
Oh, you're right. My memory isn't as good as it used to be.
It was a disaster. We stopped several times because he took wrong turns and kept forgetting where we were heading. I was so tired that before I knew it, I fell asleep. I dreamed of the greatest mathematicians in the world proudly shaking my hand and handing me a check for $1 million. I even woke up with a smile on my face. However, it immediately fell off my face as soon as I realized it was night and the car had stopped by some house. Hey, where are we? When the couple heard me, they jumped in their seats and quickly turned around to stare at me.
Girl, who are you? What are you doing in our car?
Wonderful. They must have forgotten they'd promised to give me a lift. When I explained everything to them, Mr. and Mrs. Palmer laughed good-naturedly.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sophie.
At our age, people become forgetful. They promised to drive me to the city the next morning. In the meantime, they suggested I spend the night at their place. It wasn't like I had anywhere else to go, so I agreed. I woke them up early the next morning. We got in the car, but it wouldn't start. Oh, I'm out of gas. We must have forgotten to refuel yesterday. My eye was twitching. Solving the Millennium Prize problem was easier than getting to the Institute. I felt like I was about to lose it. But then Mrs. Palmer had an idea. Sophie, take our bike. You can use it to get to the city. Thanks. I'll return it on my way back home. I got on the bike and I rode it down the road at lightning speed. Come on, Sophie, hurry up. The city is so close. That wasn't the end of my misadventures, though. Soon I was stopped by a local policewoman. She thought I stole the bike from the old couple.
Mr. and Mrs. Palmer realized it was missing and called the police.
Can you believe it? Had they forgotten they let me borrow it just 10 minutes ago? I tried to explain the situation to the officer, but she told me to wait until we arrive at the station. We got there and waited for the old couple. Of course, I knew that it was all a misunderstanding, and the Palmers would confirm I wasn't a thief once they remembered who I was. But I was still terribly nervous because I was running out of time. I was already in trouble, and then that annoying sheriff walked into the station. My luck was truly terrible.
Good afternoon, colleagues. I'm looking for a runaway. Have you seen her?
If he saw me, my parents and I would lose our house for sure. I had to get out of there. While the sheriff was talking to the cops, I tiptoed to the window and climbed out into the street. Then I ran down the road like my life depended on it. I could see the city up ahead. Yes, I was so close. Then I heard a car drive up to me. It was the sheriff. He caught up to me and got out of his pickup truck. That was it. I was done for.
Here you are. It's dangerous for kids to be traveling without adults. I'm taking you back to your parents.
I had always been a strong person, but at that moment, I couldn't help but burst into tears. The officer handed me a handkerchief and asked me why I was so upset and where I'd been going. I had nothing to lose, so I told him everything. The prize money was our only chance to keep our house. But everything's lost now. The award ceremony is in 15 minutes. There's no way I'm gonna make it there on time.
Wait, I think I know you. Aren't you that smart kid from TikTok?
I sniffed and nodded. The sheriff didn't quite believe me though and handed me a Rubik's Cube. Do you want me to prove it? Sure. It took me only a couple of seconds to solve it. The sheriff clapped his hands, delighted.
Oh, it is you. I'm your fan, little genius. Get in the car, Sophie. We still have time.
I couldn't believe the sheriff had agreed to help me. Then he turned on the siren and we hurried to the Institute. We ran into the building and I managed to get up on the stage at the last moment possible.
Sophie Turner. Is Sophie Turner here? No? It's a shame she won't be getting any prize money then.
Wait, I'm here! I was awarded the prize, and the best minds in the country lined up to congratulate me on my success.
You're very smart, Sophie. You earned this reward.
Thank you, Professor. After a small press conference, I could finally go home. The sheriff said he would give me a ride. I asked him to stop by Mr. and Mrs. Palmer's house on the way so I could return their bike. Thank you for trying to help, even though you almost ruined everything. Take care of yourselves.
Who was that? I have no idea, dear.
At parting, the sheriff handed me the Rubik's Cube and asked me for an autograph. After that, I finally came back home and told my parents the great news. Mom, Dad, I'm back. You didn't believe me, but I really did earn some money.
Sophie, when did you leave the house?
Wow, my parents hadn't even noticed I was gone for a few days. It was like they were the kids and I was the adult. But what mattered more was we paid off the debt and we were allowed to keep the house. Mom and Dad wanted to spend the rest of the money on dumb stuff. But I wouldn't let them. I spent it on education and never regretted it. At 17, I graduated from the university with honors. By the time I turned 18, I started my own company. As for my parents, I sent them to college.
Wow, the earth is round after all.
I didn't know science was so interesting. I'm proud of their success. Knowledge is wealth, after all. What was the last book you read? Tell me in the comments down below. And don't forget to press